In this video, I'm going to talk about what makes tonic herbs different from other classes of herbs. Now, I'm doing this video in response to a lot of questions that I've been getting lately about tonics and about really the idea and the foundational philosophies behind them. So, the main thing about tonic herbs, which separates them from other classes of herbs, is that they're safe to consume on a regular, consistent basis over the long term. Now, this is true because these herbs are intelligent and they're adaptogenic, meaning they can go up or they can go down, meaning they have dual directional effects on the various organs, the various organ systems, and the various physiological processes that they're influencing in the body. Whereas, say, an herb like garlic or an herb like echinacea, which is an immune stimulant, it just has a one direction or a unidirectional approach, meaning it goes in and says, okay, we need to stimulate the immune system, we need to ramp everything up, which is great if you're in an acute situation where you need to really boost your immune system. Maybe you've just been exposed to something or you're trying to get over something. You need that for a very short period of time. But if you were to do that every single day, eventually it would push your immune system out of balance and you would probably develop some sort of autoimmune condition. And even on that note, if you already had an autoimmune condition, an herb like that may not really be the best approach because it can further exaggerate and exacerbate the existing conditions. So an herb like reishi or astragalus or goji, something like that, which is more dual directional on the immune system, would be more recommended and more appropriate in that situation, because it's something you can do every day to just tone up your immune system and strengthen your immune system, while also making sure that you're maintaining balance and homeostasis and not flipping yourself into either a deficient or an autoimmune condition. So that's the fundamental difference between tonic herbs and most other medicinal or so-called inferior herbs. The second thing is that most of the tonic herbs, you can take them by themselves and not really have to worry about balancing any of their harsh energies or having to put them in complex formulations to really mitigate any toxic side effects that they may have. Because many herbs are great medicines, but they have to be used, in a counterbalance with other herbs, or to have other herbs to counterbalance toxic effects or extreme conditions, just to make sure that it doesn't really throw your body out of balance. So a good way to illustrate a tonic, a good way to understand it, is to look at exercise. There are certain exercises you can do every single day that are, very gentle but very beneficial and excellent for the body to maintain health and to increase health to higher and higher levels. Now, there are other exercises, say like powerlifting or running marathons, or really extreme situations where they're great for once, twice a week, or in the case of marathons, very rarely. But if you were to do that every single day, you're going to beat your body down, you're going to break your body down, and it's not really going to be an ideal situation. So more of a tonifying, gentle exercise would be analogous and very similar to what a tonic herb is doing for the different organ systems and different energetic systems in your body. It's just gently strengthening and tonifying and balancing, much like a gentle form of exercise will do the same thing for your muscles. So another analogy, another way to understand it, is to look at something that is a food versus something that is a medicine. And we'll use lettuce for this example. So on one hand, we have our standard food dietary lettuce, and then on the other hand, we have our wild lettuce. Now, this food lettuce is, nourishing. It's grown well. It's very good for the body. It's very beneficial. It's something we can consume on a daily basis without developing allergies or without getting, extreme reactions to it. Whereas wild lettuce is something that you really can only take a very small amount of, and if you were to do that every single day, it would probably not be an ideal situation. But if you're in a very acute situation or you need a medicinal dose of something, you can do it. So on one end we have the medicinal food that's safe for long term, and we have the medicinal substance that's really only used for acute situations. So a tonic would be really a lot closer to a food, with still having many of the medicinal properties that a medicinal herb would have, but having the intelligence and kind of the smooth edges of more of a food, so that it's able to be nutritive and something that we consume on a regular basis, which is what people in ancient cultures have been doing for thousands of years, is incorporating tonic herbs into their food, whether it's ginseng or codonopsis or goji or the red date or astragalus or any of the medicinal mushrooms. They've been incorporated into soups, into broths, into stews, into all kinds of different dishes. These herbs have been part of the diet, and when someone needs to get on a healing program or a rejuvenating program, they don't say, okay, well, over here's your herbs and over here's your food. They say, okay, well, here's your food, so let's put some herbs in it. Or here's your herbs, let's put some food in it, which is very similar to what we're really moving towards with elixirs and, you know, all the different incredible creations that we're able to come up with, taking herbs, taking foods, putting them together, and really nourishing ourselves at a deep level. So I just gave you a few different ways, a few different illustrations and analogies to really understand the difference between tonic herbs and medicinal herbs. And when we're looking at tonic herbs, we have to realize that there's really only about 30 to 50 in that elite class, and that almost everything else is going to fall under the general or even the inferior or medicinal or even sometimes the drug-like class, which is why when you read about herbs, they always say you need to consult this and that, you need to be very careful, you need to, you know, worry about all these things. But that's really only when you're working with those so-called, quote, inferior medicines. Meaning inferior because you got yourself into a situation where you're sick or you're in poor health and you need something really strong and drug-like to bring you back to some semblance of homeostasis. Whereas on the other end, when you're already healthy, when you're already feeling good, when you're already in pretty good shape and you need to just get to the next level and get higher and higher and higher and build protection and build adaptability and build reserves of energy, then you go to the tonic herbs. So that's the difference between tonic herbs and other classes of herbs. If you have any questions or comments, post them below and I'll talk to you soon.